Your Honor, we submitted a number 2. Defendant number 2A, if you would publish to the jury.
Did you ever find him?
You know god well we ain't find him. But I always say the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
What?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
And what, if any, opinions might you have that could possibly disprove this?
That was a clip from the Boondocks.
Objection, hearsay.
You asked the question.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Mr. Hypemoore, is the American legal system broken?
You could say it's the best bad idea we have to solve a problem that we have yet to produce a better solution for.
Is there not also another court in session? One in which we are all, the judge, jury, and executioner, whether we pay close attention to the details or not?
There are, in fact, 2 battles going on at the same time. Each side would love to win both, but given what their respective legal teams have to work with, it's likely that they are actually hoping to win one. And if they can win the other, then that's just the proverbial chocolate frosting on top of the marital bed.
Objection.
Sustained. I mean, on top of the cake. I've seen a lot of confusion about the legal strategies here. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I have read several John Grisham books, and he was a lawyer, so I absolutely know what I'm talking about. All you need to know about defamation lawsuits is that they are very difficult to win, and everything that follows this statement is just my opinion and does not in any way purport to be a fact.
So, what are these 2 battles you say are going on?
One is, of course, the defamation lawsuit, in which Johnny Depp is the plaintiff and Amber Heard is guilty. Amber Heard is the defendant. Mr. Hypemoore, if you would just please answer the question. The other is the court of public opinion, where we all have to decide who we think is right and who is an asshole.
Your Honor, may we approach?
And who is wrong. Mr. Depp wants to win the court of public opinion. He wants to wipe away the stain on his sheets,
Your Honor,
on his reputation. And if he can win the defamation lawsuit, then he is entitled to $50 million. Now, true, Mr. Depp is a wealthy man. And does he like to party? Yes. But for Mr. Depp, it's not about the money. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, $50 million is a lot of money. That was like 2 movies for Johnny Depp. At least it was.
Objection.
Overruled. At least it was before, for some reason, he couldn't get any more work. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you, what is $50 million against that of your reputation? Which brings me to the defendant in this case. Amber Heard would also like to win the court of public opinion, but she needs to not lose the defamation lawsuit, where she would be on the hook for $50 million. Mr. Hypemoore, is it not up to her team to somehow make those good people of the jury confused, bored, and or bitter enough that they don't hand Mr. Depp the W and the $50 million? On one side, you have a man who seeks to win a very difficult case, given that defamation lawsuits are usually settled outside of court, and more often than not one when they go to trial. And on the other side, you have a woman in 2018 who wrote an article which allegedly destroyed, the reputation of a man who she simultaneously claims to be protecting. Now, I used to work at a country club golf course, and I have known some lawyers who were as dumb as a rock. Some of them were literally not smart enough to put a golf cart in drive.
And I'm personally offended.
That's absolutely 100% true. But most lawyers are not dumb, and they can only work with what they are given. They're employing 2 different strategies because there's 2 different objectives here
two different main objectives here as I see it. On one side, you have the traditional method of using evidence, facts, expert witnesses to prove that what you are trying to say is true. Police reports, medical records, an understanding of the movie industry and what the public opinion can do to your stardom and your potential to earn with your acting ability. But what do you do when you don't have any of those things?
Look at this graph.
Well, you have to use the 3Ds, as I like to call them. Distraction, disinterest, and defecation.
Come the on.
And discredit. You're banking on the fact that the burden of proof lies with the plaintiff. And all you need to do is make sure those people of the jury don't give enough of a shit anymore about who shit where, because they aren't getting a piece of that cool 50 mil either way. You need a bunch of people, and you need all of them to have their story straight. You don't need quality, concise questions. You need a bunch of boring and misleading ones. And you need to do your opponent's reputation like a nice pair of white bed sheets. And you need to take a hot, steaming sustained and literally stained. Let's go ahead and take 15 minutes while we get someone in here to clean up this. It remains to be seen that even if Johnny has won the court of public opinion and cleared his name of the allegations of abuse, it is a very real chance that he won't win the actual defamation lawsuit because of how hard that is to do. So even though it appears he is winning the court of public opinion, you're saying that he could lose? So what about the attorneys? I would assume the lawyers are all racking up billable hours either way. And even if they don't win, Johnny's team is getting excellent publicity. His attorneys have a seemingly once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to continually dunk on a legal team without an actual leg of evidence to stand on.
Getting our asses kicked! We need help!
Harkin Knight Reaper! Ho! I'm out of here.
But wouldn't Miss Heard's lawyers have known for years what they didn't have to work with? So it would seem that reputation must indeed have a price tag on it. Again, I'm assuming that these are intelligent people, but then again, they are having a lot of trouble with their microphones and objecting to their own questions. I think they probably were willing to take the payday and the hit to their PR, knowing how hard it is for Mr. Depp's team to win the defamation lawsuit. But even if she wins and is not on the hook for $50 million, is Amber not worse off than she was when you hadn't even heard of her? In my opinion, if you were somehow on the fence about who was telling the truth, she lost that battle the moment Camille Vasquez took the podium. It was the culmination of the entire situation. You have to wonder if Miss Heard in that moment was able to remember the instructions her legal team surely would have given her. You would almost feel sorry for Amber Heard, except all the evidence, or lack thereof, as I sit here today, ladies and gentlemen, seems to imply that just like the bruises she showed us in those pictures, she more than likely did this to herself. The saddest part is I personally don't believe Johnny ever wanted it to come to this. Whether you think he is a guy who just likes to party like Keith Richards, is living out one of his roles like Hunter S. Thompson, or is struggling to stay disconnected from some darkness deep within himself, it does not stand to reason, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that he would subject himself to the public scrutiny, the intimate details, the hours of forced sobriety in a Virginia courtroom. And is it not even harder to believe when you consider the irony of exposing such personal struggles, many of which you would probably like to forget in your life in order to clear your name? All of this because a person you thought you loved made accusations about you while simultaneously claiming to want to protect you. And perhaps that ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is the answer to why is the rum always gone? Like and subscribe. My name is Hypemoore. No further questions, Your Honor.
Dun 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 dun